previous program, we've been producing, students have been graduating without, some of them without work. So is there any communication from the department, in fact, is there any commitment to ensure that, because the more we have graduates, we are going to need more industries. Is there any commitment whereby they are willing to invest on companies that will at least hire the students, because we are going to come to a point whereby we've saturated the market with students who graduated who can even get employment. Like for instance, when you come to the 4IR part, there's few companies in this country. Is there any commitment or budget that the department is saying that we are willing to invest in these companies, provided that they take this route so that we ensure employment of our students, or it's still something in negotiations?
At the moment, I think we are all aware that we are still at the negotiation stage. Even the department itself, it doesn't finalize their funding norms for the colleges. But we expect us, with partnership with the industry, with other stakeholders, CETAs, NSF, whatever, any donor that we have, to source more funding so that we can cap for that. And I highlighted that South Africa is not industrialized like Germany. This method works quite well in Germany, but with us, we're going to have some challenges. That's why we said we need to bridge the gap between us and the globe, so that we can do practicals in America whilst we're still in South Africa. Okay.
Last question, it was about the qualifications, because you mentioned that we are moving towards facilitators. Hence, when you hire people who are supposed to teach, you say, let the person have a teaching qualification. And there's also one thing that I've heard under your risk. The lecturers must get work exposure, work-based experience. Now, is there any contingency plan or a memorandum of understanding whereby you're going to restrict the lecturers? Because if you can check the pay grade between the lecturer and the industry, it's huge. So I feel like somehow it will also still be a strategy for the private sectors to absorb lecturers. So is there any policy or a contingency plan whereby when a lecture has been absorbed, remember we are going to start without a facilitator or a lecture. So under your risk, is there anything that it's now in place that can stop them from being absorbed for now and say, please, when we have a memorandum of understanding with you, you are going to train our lecturers, but please don't hire them because we need them? Or it's just an open market for now? A person can go to a will and then never comes back and send a resignation letter.
It's very difficult to bridge that gap between our salaries at the college or public sector compared with the private sector. It's difficult to do it. Motheo knows very well that he loses staff, engineers, every year that goes to the workplace. And it's the risk that we have to take, that our lecturers should go for workplace. Some of the way, when they get to workplace, they might be employed. And we cannot stand on the wave of all professionals by saying that we want to maintain them in the college. We just appreciate that we got it, we employ another one, that one will train our students when they get to workplace. But it's a requirement for accreditation that all lecturers should have a 3-year industry exposure. I'll come to you.
Thank you very much, sir. I just want to check, sir, with our infrastructure currently at this moment, our classes are actually designed for mostly designed for theory-based education, and I just want to check what the new system or what within your plan. Are there any plans on maybe new buildings, or simulation rooms, whereby before I understand that students will be taught in class and then go to companies or whatever where they will be trained or get further training. But I always think it's always best whereby before going to industry, that a student should be put in a simulation room or something whereby he gets something like that exposure, like touching whatever he's going to do in the field, so that when he gets to gets to the field or gets to get to the whatever company is going to, you started practicing this without not doing it theoretical, so but putting what is it hands-on, being hands-on with whatever he's going to do before he goes to the industries and all that. So is there anything within this new system or a plan on buildings or renovations of buildings in order to renovate them in such a way that it can accommodate the students for such things as well?
The unfortunate part of it is that the qualifications are developed by QCTO. Now, QCTO does not have funds. They don't fund their programs. The programs, we need to fund them from the ministerial funds, and we apply for them. We don't get them automatically. And the ministerial funding does not cover for infrastructure. There's a special budget that they have for infrastructure, and then they do it as a project. But we need to have simulation labs. For us to be able to get them, we need to raise funds. That is why I talked about we need to have an office that deals with that. That will make partnerships with and fundraise. Remember, we are all going through this. And I don't even remember quite well when NCV program started. One of the requirements was a simulation. And for the past 20 years, we haven't even get closer to that. So that's why I said is some of the risks that we have to mitigate so that this program becomes a success.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Silwani, do you have any question? Noted. Dr. Silwani, are you okay? Okay, Dr. Silwani doesn't have a question. Dr. Nine.
Oh, no, thank you very much, Ndedemzana. The study, to me, I'm not sure whether you addressed this one. How will this study emerge in a mega trends? I understood that you mentioned the mega trends, especially digitalization and climate smart tourism and so on. How will the study try and tackle that, these mega trends and the developing for IIR? And what are the specific KPI targets and timelines have been set in this study, in each strategic goal? Thank you.
Thank you, Nadum Nine. Nadum Nine is trying to get difficult questions. In that time, it looks like at least you made a homework, you write before you come to the class. The mega trends in Nadum Nine is what we have to adopt in South Africa. Even though I said it's going to be very difficult to adopt it as it is, we need to at least try to modify it to suit our circumstances in South Africa. And coming on the plan, when you talk of the time frames, we didn't put the time frames, we only highlighted it that we're going to have pilot study and then get it fully fledged in 2028. But throughout, we'll still be putting some things on the strat plan. This is the first strat plan which is a skeleton.
Follow up with the last question.
The last question.
Yeah, the last question. And also, I realized that there was a consultation that was made to the employers, lecturers, students, and so on. But the study, to me, does not outline the resource allocation to all the stakeholders, or from all the stakeholders. The allocation of resources so that we succeed, or so that we can say this study, dual method, succeeds.
Remember that we talk about only 3 stakeholders that we have. We talk about the workplace, the lecturers, and the students. And if you talk about allocation of funding, I said we're going to have partnerships with industry. It means we need funding from industry, not give them a budget. The lecturers, we're going to put them, to expose them to industry. For the funds that we're going to source, we're going to be able to secure those workplaces for them. And the students will go through all the training for them to be employable or be part of the entrepreneurship. Okay, Lily? Okay.
I have a So I wanted to ask, will there be other courses that will be input into Motheo College, like IT, stuff like that? Will most of those stuff they need, like coding and stuff like that?
Digital marketing. Surely in that Datem knows quite well that we have a program that is called digital marketing. It's a program that we offer to keep that one. So we're going to have a program specifically for digital marketing. We have about 800 programs already in the KCTO website. So we have a choice, a variety of choice for all the qualifications that you do.
So
But remember, the choice depends on the needs of the market. So we're going to do work study in Bloemfontein and check if really we need digital marketing. One can say when you go to Koffiefontein, you might not need digital marketing. I'm just making an example. And it's not that because Ngatemoko is from Koffiefontein. Nade Utat, you're the last one.
Thank you. I see that this is a well-researched case paper, and thanks for the good job that I can see here. Interestingly, of what is being said about your dual methods and whatever, how will this study then be expanded? How do you think this study, or how do you envision to expand this study to other provinces? Because basically it's regional, but is there any that you are thinking or envisage that you can expand it to other provinces maybe?
Remember, this strategy is for our college, which is based in Free State. And we are not only cater for Free Staters. We can cater for any students anywhere in South Africa. And for this study, we did this study with all the colleges in South Africa, 50 colleges. So each and every college was focusing on their market. So this is the whole South Africa, only that is different colleges. But all colleges are taking part in this study.
Okay. And the last one is, I hear to talk about the collaborations in other countries, like you mentioned, you made an example of Ghana and Botswana. Now, is there any envisaged collaborations between one of those countries? Because already maybe they are a bit advanced than us. Are you envisaging to collaborate with them, or even as a college to collaborate with one college, maybe to Botswana as the nearest country?
I think with collaboration with other countries, Motheo is a little bit advanced than other colleges because we already have collaboration with few countries. That's why you've seen in the past month, people visited Africa, they went to Germany, others went to China. You see. That's why we talked about office specifically based for that. That will make collaboration with the nearest countries that are advanced with us, or that we can share expenses with them.
Okay.
Thank you very much, colleagues, for listening and for honoring my invitation. Your presence is really appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, colleagues.